stuff. So what do you want to know?
How you do it?
There's the dog in the cabin, hanging out, chewing on the curtains, doing whatever it does when I'm not there.
Relaxing.
Relaxing, exactly. Enjoying the cruise. Yeah. Nala is a Pomeranian. She's about 3.5 years old. I have Nala and Simba with me. They're brother and sister, same litter. Obviously didn't see Simba in the show. Sometimes he's in it. This week he was not because we wanted to make my new son levitate. And that took that spot and a few other things. So we switched around a lot. I used to do an act with birds, and you see little clips on here with the birds. And my wife said, well, we should get a dog. It's like, no, we're not getting a dog. It's too hard to travel with the dog. She said, you travel with birds. You go into all these countries with these birds. Let's get a dog. I said, I don't have any magic tricks. She says, you're really good. You'll figure out a trick. Let's get a dog. And this went on and on, and obviously we got a dog because that's how it works, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
And so 13 years ago, we got a little poodle, toy poodle named Shadow, and you're going to see a video clip of him in a few minutes. And the problem was, when I got the little dog, I went through all these old magic books trying to find a magic trick for dogs, and there aren't any. But there are tricks for ducks, because they used to use that back 100 years ago in vaudeville. There are tricks with rabbits. There are no tricks with dogs. But I figured that's going to work. I'll use one of those tricks. And I tried. And a dog moves different and thinks different than a duck or a rabbit. So it didn't work. And I tried another one, didn't work, and I tried another one, and it sort of worked, but it wasn't there. But I figured I can fine-tune this, I'll make this work over time. But it meant it wasn't going to happen for another couple months. I was just going to travel with the dog, Shadow, because we had to travel. That's just was the nature of it. So we flew, we got to somewhere, we were getting on the Rotterdam, the cruise ship, the Rotterdam, many years ago. And my wife has a little shoulder bag with Shadow inside of it. And we see the hotel manager out in the terminal, and she said, look what we got. And he says, you can't have a dog on the ship? And he said, no, it's for the show. And he says, well, it better be for the show. So now the pressure's on. I have to make the dog appear that cruise. And so sometimes Shadow would appear, and sometimes Shadow would not appear. The problem was I didn't know if I had him. He didn't weigh anything. He weighed nothing. So I'd have these handkerchiefs. I'd go to make the dog appear. I didn't know if he was there, and there'd be no dog. And I'd be shaking these handkerchiefs looking like a dork. But you guys had no idea as an audience that a dog was coming. So the trick wasn't blown in that sense, because you didn't know it was supposed to happen. And eventually I worked out the details of it. And then when I started using my other poodle, I have another toy poodle who's taller than Shadow, and he has longer legs. The trick wouldn't work, because you have these long legs. But then I worked out the details of that. And now with either Nala or Simba, my two Pomeranians, either of them worked just great. And now I have a Chihuahua as well, a whole different type of dog, moves different things, different, likes to scratch at things. And it's a whole different way to make the Chihuahua appear. And that because we have a Chihuahua because I was traveling with both of the poodles. William and his brother Tyler were old enough to go to school, so my wife was at home with them, and she says, we need a dog at home. And so she bought a Chihuahua. And then she said, it needs a friend. So she bought another one. At one point we had 7 dogs. Yeah. That's a lot. We traveled on a ship with 6 at one point. Just too many. And they were very young at that point. They'd be fine now. Yeah. Next question. What do you want to know?
How long does it take to develop a trick?
How long does it take to develop a trick? It really depends on the trick. There are some tricks that are just really clever secrets. And once you know the secret, you can do the trick. There are other tricks where it takes incredible skill and practice, and you have to work at it and work at it and work at it. It can be years and years and years. In fact, at 3:30 in the other room, we're going to do a variety show. I'm going to be doing some incredibly hard magic with cards and coins. There's years and years and years of practice. I should practice today. Maybe I'll practice for a few minutes before. But I've been doing that stuff for years, so I can really just do it. So that stuff's hard. There's other things, like I'm going to do a trick in this particular presentation that William saw me do yesterday for the very first time. I used to do it years ago, but I've never done it as part of the show. I'm going to do it as part of the show, and I was just running through it yesterday, just making sure I got it back and refreshed in my memory. And then I taught it to him, and he just kept, for like 45 minutes, he just kept doing the trick, over and over. And I said, this is the greatest, I have to do this at home for Mommy and my brother. And so, yeah, it'll be in here. I'll tell you when we get to that one. Yeah. You had a question back there?
Do you lose any of your equipment when you're flying around?
Do I ever lose any equipment when I fly? Well, I travel very differently than you. And think back to 9/11. before they had all the big security measures, they used to have the guys that would open your suitcases and go through it right in front of you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'd watch them trying to jam my stuff back in because I don't travel with normal stuff. You open up my suitcase, it's not clothing, it's props. They go, this is cool, what's that for? And just jam it in. And after that point, it was like, no, I'm not traveling that way. When I have all this big equipment, they just forklift it on. And we have big trunks. So a truck will show up either at my warehouse or at my house, or both. And they'll take this stuff on a big lift gate into the truck, and it arrives here on the ship down on A deck, and the crew, guys from backstage get it all back there, and there's a big loading dock area back there where the stuff is all stored. So it's very different. And then you're dealing with a shipping company that where you're a known shipper, and there's all kinds of, there's other things, factors involved there. So I don't worry about it in that case. They run forklifts through the boxes though. They're supposed to go under, but they don't. They try to go through. That happens pretty regularly. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
What's the worst boo-boo that have ever happened to you in our audience?
Once I thought I made a mistake, but I was wrong. Boo-boo. A lot of stuff can go wrong. You're doing a very technical show. There's a lot of little things in the show. But imagine you're at the office and you have a report that's due, and you knock your coffee over on that report. The world doesn't end because you hit print and another one comes out, and it's as good as new, right? So you haven't blown it. But if your hard drive crashes and you knock the coffee over, then you're screwed. Okay. So in terms of what I do, lots of little things can go wrong. When I was doing the act with birds, I make the birds appear, they fly over the audience, so the bird may land on your head. Is the trick blown? No, I just kind of the edge of the stage and get the bird. Usually in a big theater, it tries to go up high, and in which case, yeah, I still made a bird appear, and you saw it was a real bird. So the trick's not blown in that sense. What else? I usually don't mess a lot of stuff up.
Of course, if we don't know it.
I had a kid come up on stage once for a trick, and this was back when I was like 16 years old. It was a it was a parent-son banquet for Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts, something like that. And so tons of kids there, and the parents, and I asked for a volunteer, and all these hands go up, and this boy comes up on stage, and I put this thing in his hand for us to do the trick with, and as he's standing here, I'm noticing there's a puddle of water on the floor, which is getting bigger.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
And it's not water. This boy's nervous, and he must have drank a lot at this little banquet, and he's wearing these light tan pants, and they're getting dark, and you can just he's going. And so I figured this is funny, but I'm not going to scar him for life. So I just got behind him because he was really going and led him off the stage and asked for one of his parents to come and retrieve him because he was nervous. And I don't think that the other kids had any indication that was happening. Okay. I asked for another volunteer to come up, and all the hands went up, and the younger boy comes up on stage, and he's standing here, and I put this thing in his hand, and he goes, "Why is there water on the stage?" "Shut up, kid. Why is there water on the stage?" That would be one of the unusual things that happen. Yeah. Yes.
Maintain the dexterity you have in your hands. Do you have a set of exercises that you do every day, and how long does it take, or how do you...
Do I have a set of exercises I do every day for my hands because of the dexterity from what I do? I started doing this kind of stuff when I was young. I used to play piano. My mom was a piano teacher. I'm the last of 6 kids. We all had to do it. But by the time I was 10 years old, I was already doing a lot of that sleight of hand stuff. I was already into it. By the time I was 12, I stopped playing piano, and I was just solely doing this. I can do this simply because I do it. I have no other way of saying it. I used to do a lot of practice, and the ball things, I'm still warming up and doing all that stuff beforehand and trying to get the speed. And I do it with both hands. All the stuff I can do here, I can do with the other hand as well. Which is really hard.
Excuse me, I'm hard.
Just buy something nice for yourself. Go ahead. They got some good stuff on there. We'll sort it out. Dexterity. There's other magic tricks that don't require the dexterity. of the magic set that I'm going to show you, it's not dexterity, because you don't have dexterity. I mean, some of you might, but I need tricks that you're going to be able to do right away, that you're not going to practice for hours and hours and hours and weeks on end. It's something you can do in a few minutes. So there's different types of tricks. Because I can do the sleight of hand, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. And when it gets to the day that like this is painful or I simply can't do it, I'll move into other tricks. I'll read minds. That's a lot easier on the hands, okay? And I do a lot of that kind of magic too, but right now I'm focusing on this stuff while I can do it. Yeah. Next question, yes?
When you guys started, did you buy tricks?
When I started, I was 5 years old. I was hit by lightning, and ever since then I've had these strange and amazing powers.
No.
And I've chosen to use them only for good purposes. When I was really young, there were no magic shops. There was nowhere to get a magic set like what I had. There was nothing around where I was. So I had to read books. I had to go to the public library and get all the books and read that stuff. And like reading that stuff is like reading Greek. Unless you're Greek. You might out of a book get 1 or 2 tricks out of a book that has 100 or 200 tricks because you're not at the level that you need to be at to read some of those books. So that's how I began reading books. And then gradually, yes, we found out places you could mail order, get things way back in the day before the internet ever existed. I'm older than ever. And so we'd get the odd trick. And you get something, and the description sounded like this was the greatest thing ever, and you get it and go, no, that's not, So that was also what influenced the way I put together the kit. I'm going to do the tricks that are in my magic set for the show. They're good tricks.
So have
it's not just
you
a
ever
description.
sold a trick of yours?
Have you ever sold? Yes. Oh yeah. All
What
the
does
time.
a trick cost?
What do tricks cost? Well, it depends. When you say if it's big things from in a big show, you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in big illusions. I think one of the more expensive ones I have is around $14,000. Then there's other things. It depends. It's big stuff, so it has to be made right, and you need it to last, and it needs to be put together and taken apart for traveling, and it's got to last. So there's other stuff that costs pennies, for different tricks. Depends on what it is. Some stuff it's not anything special about it. It's simply your skills or the way you utilize it. Yes.
That's the old
When
card
you talk
trick.
about a big trick
Mhm.
that you have to have made,
Yes.
do you have a network of trick makers? or-
Yes, there is a network of trick makers, so to speak. There is an industry for that. There are guys who just construct things for magicians. They have a magic background. They've worked with other magicians for years, and they're probably not performers, probably not good performers, but they can build stuff and they understand what we need and technologies and things that need to be done differently than a cabinet maker might build a box. I don't need a box built by a cabinet maker because it's going to be really heavy duty and I'm not going to be able to travel with that. It's going to be a pain. I need stuff that's made out of aluminum, welded out of aluminum and things like that. Coming on a ship like this, you're going from Vegas where it's dry to being on a ship where you're on the ocean. Imagine how your stuff's going to warp. Even that box where the girl got squished, the lid is made out of 1/2-inch plywood, and it expands here. I went home in Vegas, I was going to do work on it because I knew it would get stuck. There was something wrong, I was getting stuck. So I was going to file it all down. It's like, well, there's nothing wrong with this. And then I came out on a ship, and it's like, well, it's sticking again. It's just the moisture in the air. So try to make it so that's not going to happen. Yes?
When you make tricks from your own mind and, building it up, do you have to, copyright it or patent
Do you copyright or patent the tricks? If you have patented a trick, then anybody can go online to the patent office and look it up and know how it works. So you've lost your secret if you patent it. How do you prevent other guys from doing it? Usually people at the higher level respect the fact that you come up with a trick and they don't want to be doing the same trick as you. There are a lot of guys who don't respect that. Who will just say, oh, that was the coolest trick. I saw Copperfield on TV do it, I want to do that. And they'll go and try to do the same thing. And they'll copy what he's wearing and the music. You see that a lot of that on YouTube. It's exactly identical. In Copperfield in the heyday, in the early 90s, there was so many clones of him, people just trying to do his stuff. So, yeah, it's really hard. You can't protect it. Yeah, that's just
It's called the Black Box.
Anybody? Bueller?
That's the portion of the
Where
trick that
else do you
is hidden behind the black.
Where else? I performed all over the world,
Without it,
all
you
through
can't do the trick.
Japan, all through
But it's hard
Europe,
to see what's inside
Canada,
the black
the US. In Vegas, Tropicana, Monte Carlo, Venetian, Bellagio, Caesar, it could be anywhere. Holland America's entertainment director in the Seattle office. He used to be the entertainment director for Caesar's Palace. I work here all the time. They will fill my entire schedule. They don't want me to work anywhere else because they don't think I'll come back. So I always try to negotiate for more. You know what that's like? They told me to eat more.
More food.
Yeah. So I'm here a lot. They've got me booked into 2017 already. Yeah. So it's busy. Do you have a question? It's okay.
He likes where he travels.
Where things go in
Yeah.
your show.
Where they go? When they go, where does the stuff go when it disappears in the show? Where does the dog go? Can you keep a secret? Yes, so can I. All right, we are going to get into the next section. We're going to play a little video for you. You're going to see Shadow, my first poodle, back when he was 2 months old, and then a couple other things, and then I'm going to come out and we're going to get right into the magic. So, enjoy the video.